Hello fellow tile junkies, so today we're gonna look at tanking kits, which is a waterproofing kit for water sensitive backgrounds. Obviously water sensitive backgrounds, as we all know guys, do not bode well in wet areas such as shower areas. Okay, so we need to apply tanking kits to protect them from the water and moisture. First things first, then make sure that the area that you're going to go onto is wiped down. So Fraser is wiping down the background here, so there's any dust on the walls etc. that could have a negative impact on the tanking kit sticking to the background itself. Now basically with this kit, it's a two-part process, so you want to apply it in two coats, but because it's rapid setting, you can't just mix it all in a oneer, because by the time you come to do the second coat it'll be rock solid. Alright, now then the way you do it then is you half the bag. Now the bag's 5 kilograms, so what you could do is you could take a set of scales to it, couldn't you, and weigh out 2.5 kilograms times 2, but who's going to do that? So a good way to do it, to get an approximate measurement, is, as I'm showing in the video there, is to flatten the bag down, get it nice and level, and then cut down the white line, and that way you'll be able to separate it into two separate pouches of tanking powder. Now, it would have helped if I'd had a sharp Stanley knife. I did take one with me, but you know, never mind. Anyways, back onto the water sensitive backgrounds then. So we've got plasterboard, obviously is terrible, isn't it? So is gypsum plaster, skim coat, old Latin plaster, horsehair plaster. They all don't sort of coat well when they get hit with water constantly, so it's good practice to offer a tanking kit, tanking system with every tiling installation into a wet area. So there you go then, I separated the bags, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix a concentrated mix up. So I'm going to get my BAL Tank It liquid, I'm going to pour a bit into a container, and I'm going to make up a concentrated mix so that I've got quite a thick mix that I can force into any gaps. So your gaps are going to be typically around your pipe outlets. So in the shower area it's going to be the hot and cold, or just the cold if it's into an electric shower. Now to me, if you don't make the shower area totally watertight, then what's the point really? You're just doing half a job, because when water gets behind the grout, which it inevitably does, it'll just go into the side of the plasterboard and it'll just swell up from the back. So make sure you plug all the gaps guys if you want to do it right. So this tanking kit as well guys, it is rapid setting, so basically you can be tiling onto these backgrounds after 90 minutes, so there's really no waiting time. Now we used to use I think it was WP1 it was called, and it was just like a ready mix tanking kit, and a lot of the guys would have used the Mapai one as well. The problem with that one is once you've applied it, you've got to wait 24 hours for it to set, and even then the next day sometimes you would be like, you'd feel in a corner where you've maybe applied a little bit extra, and it's just not dried out, and you're always a bit like, do I wait another 24 hours or should I just crack on? I've got to get this job done. Whereas with this stuff, there's really no issue. So there you go then, I'm fixing, I'm forcing it into the joints, yeah, into the gaps around the shower fixings. I've got the mixer tap there and the on and off tap, and I've also got the water outlet to the left there as well. and there's a sizable hole there, you can see that, which I had to cut out because the pipes were really close. It's worth pointing out at this stage, guys, it's worth wearing gloves when you're doing this. This stuff really does stick, man. Weirdly, you know, I must admit I like picking it off my hands. Mrs. doesn't appreciate it though. So yeah, wear gloves when you do this would be good advice. Now this can be used both outdoors and indoors. Just a little ditty for you. About 8 years ago, somebody got onto our office roof and thinking it was lead, they were going to strip it. So what they did was, just to check it was lead, they cut a section out. It was about 3 inches square. And once they realised it wasn't lead, they just done one. So we were left with a hole in the roof. And we just patched it up with a tank and kit similar to this, and it's it lasted 8 years, so just goes to show. So what I'm doing here, guys, is I'm taping all the joints, so where the plasterboard meets the plasterboard, or in this case where the BAL boards meet, all internal corners, where your boards meet your shower tray or your wet deck, you want to apply this reinforcement tape. Okay. And this is very important because this is where all the movement occurs, all the expansion, contraction. If you don't do this part of it, then what you'll get is little hairline cracks, or bigger cracks even, depending, where water will just get in between and ruin the background regardless. So taping all the joints is the next stage. And these frays are cracking on. It's not rocket science, is it? As I say, guys, this is something that we should be offering on all our jobs. So I'll put them on the quote. If the customer is adamant they don't want it installed for cost reasons, usually, isn't it? Then that's absolutely fine, but just make sure that you get that in writing. So just a confirmation email, just, you know, confirming that, you know, against your advice that they don't want the tanking system, and that's absolutely fine, in it. And that just covers your back, so when they if they do have any problems such as discoloration of grout joints, which, you know, does occur when you don't put tanking systems in, or after a few years when the tiles start sponging around on the wall because the plasterboard's filled with water, when they come back to you for that reason, you can show them the email stating that they didn't want it. So what I'm doing here, guys, I'm just demonstrating how to get around a pipe outlet. All you do is you fold the tape over a couple of incisions, and that will slide over the pipe like so, and then you can just tank around. Easy peasy. And from there, then you're just going to fill in over your tape now, making sure everything is good. Good little tip here, guys, when you've got a long section of tape, throw it over your shoulder to keep it off the ground, and that's a good way just to stop it trailing on the ground and picking up loads of crap. There we go. All sorted. So Fraser here, what he's doing is he's showing you a good little trick. A lot of the times you want to finish before you get onto the painted wall. Your tiles might be finishing there, see, and you don't want this tanking kit going onto a bit of a wall area where it's going to get painted, because it's obviously not going to look very nice. So a pencil line with a good accurate spirit level, and we're just using frog tape there, and you'll see in a wee bit when we pull that off we'll be left with a nice clean edge. So here we go guys, mixing it then. Basically what you want to do is you want to mix half of the powder with a quarter of the bottle, so 1250 millilitres of BAL Tank It liquid with half the bag. And the reason that you do that, is so you get like a stiffer mix, and what that does, it knocks out all the lumps. Whereas if you add half of the powder to half of the liquid, 2.5 litres, you'll get a runny mix, but it'll have lots of little lumps in it. Okay. And then you add the second half of the liquid in once you've got the lumps out, and you should be left with consistency like so. So as you can see guys, I'm just painting it over the tape first. There's three methods I'm going to show you here that you can apply to the background. The first one is just with a brush, which is handy to get around the obstacles such as shower outlets, mixers, mixer valves, etc. And as you can see, if you tape it over the mesh quite thick, it should cover it completely, giving you a watertight background there. Second method I'm going to show you now is applying it with a trowel, and this is my preferred method because you can get it over vast areas quite quickly doing this. When you do it though, make sure that you go over all your tape joints first and foremost before you start applying it. If you just apply to the wall and you go up against the tape, sometimes you can pull the tape off, so just be careful with that one. Now as I say, this is a two-stage process, so the first coat is going to go on your two walls. Usually it would just be two walls. It would be the shower wall and the wall to the left of it. Two shower walls. This kit will cover 7 square meters, which is, you know, a decent area. So the first coat's going to go on, and then we're going to wait half an hour, and then we're going to put a second coat on. So you can be tiling onto these backgrounds after 90 minutes. So Fraser here is showing us how to stick it on with a roller. And you know, with a roller you can, once again, you can get over vast areas much quicker than you can with just a brush. Now when you're sticking it on with a roller or a brush, obviously you're doing two coats. Your first coat wants to be horizontal, left to right, and then your second coat, once you've waited half an hour and you've gone on with your second coat, that wants to be vertical strokes up and down. So just working around the area, applying it on. Making the background nice and water resistant. Now you can see we're going on to BAL board here. Now BAL board itself doesn't really get affected by water. However, it's still good practice to put a tanking kit in position. And some guys don't, you know, they're just like, well, what's the point? You know, if water gets behind the tiles for some reason and goes down the wall, what you'll find is it'll break through the silicone seal and it'll divert back into the shower tray rather than going down to the floor below. And then I'm just showing guys ripping off the frog tape to show a nice clean line. So second mix on then, and I'm applying the second coat now. So brushing around any fixings, and that's the neatest way to do it. And then I'm going to do the second coat here with a roller. and just cracking on getting the second coat on. He's Fraser getting his second coat, and you can see vertical strokes this time. Until the wall is covered. And that's pretty much it. As you can see, this is the next day and everything's set. You can see I've got some markings in the wall where I've been planning out, but all the gaps are covered, filled, and everything's completely solid, watertight and ready to tile. Right guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope it made sense and it was easy to sort of understand. Any comments, please put them in the comments box. Is there any other videos that you want to see, then let us know and we'll get on it. So please give us a like, ring the bell to be notified of any other videos, and we will see you next time guys. Cheers.